All right, alongside our guest, Mike Heika, and of course, Sam Nestler, I'm Owen Newkirk. Bonus stars material for your weekend or whenever you consume this. We had a great visit with Mike. If you didn't see our Friday show on DLS, check out the DLS Stars pod. We talked about the Olympics, the stars, and even Craig Ludwig showed up. And we didn't know it, but boy,
field.
He had some great stuff. He probably was in a field.
Yeah. He was in the airport getting checked out
One
yesterday.
of the topics we didn't get to because we had, an hour, that wasn't enough for us, was the coaching staff of the Dallas Stars. 57 games in, the Stars have the second best record. Basically, I mean, are they second or third with Minnesota? I think maybe a game in hand, whatever. It doesn't matter. We had an interesting discussion last week that I had to bring with Luds that I wanted to bring Heika in on this. And so, Mike, for the longest time, Sam and I were putting our fist on the table saying, get a forward, get a D, trade deadline. That's how you bolster. And Luds was sitting there scratching his head going, is that enough to make you over the top and win a Stanley Cup? Is this team that good? And the answer is no, because it's only part of it. I think that would help them. But the real key is getting this group that they have now, or whether they bolster it, to where Glenn Gulletson is trying to get them. And that's the conversation I want to have with you now is 57 games in, how far along and how much progress has Gully and his staff made getting that 1 degree of this team that was so close 3 years in a row in the conference final to maybe getting over that into a team that can win a cup?
I think one, in my opinion, a lot. Two, it depends on how you define a lot.
Yeah.
So what has been happening here, and I think this is what Jim Nill really wanted, is that Glenn Gulletson is a collaborative coach. He has spent 7 years as an assistant, and he was an assistant before that. Pete was a head coach his whole career. Junior level, minor leagues, everything.
Always the head guy.
Always the head coach.
Yes.
So then what you get with Pete is, I'm in charge, and I'm going to do this. And I don't know if that created any tension with the GM or not, but it was clear that if you wanted to do something, it had to get through Pete.
It's his way or the highway.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think it really was.
It was.
And so now the new group is a collaboration. Glenn very much respects the opinions of his assistant coaches. I think Elaine Nasruddin is a better coach now because he's allowed to coach in a different manner than what Pete
The way
did.
he wants to, not necessarily the way that the head coach is asking
Correct.
him to
And
do
again, you see the head coach running the defense for Team Canada, and he clearly has ideas on how you should run defense.
Yes.
So then the question is that a good thing? Pete got him to 3 conference finals and the best regular season record in the league. So clearly the way he does things and controlling it, the way he controlled it, can be successful. Now he didn't get over the top. So then
He never has.
No, he never has. And then again,
And that kind of follows Pete around, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I go back to, it's funny because they said, well, what if they would have beat Edmonton? I go, well, they would have lost to Florida. And people are like, well, what do you mean? And I go, they would have
100%.
lost to Florida. Pete would have lost to his best friend. That's just,
Paul
in my
Maurice is,
opinion,
yeah,
Probably in
have
5
happened.
games.
with Paul Maurice, with his coaching acumen and that roster.
And
the way they were
his
playing. Yeah. And the way
understanding of Pete's head.
adapting on the fly.
Yes.
Pete didn't do a lot of that. I
And
agree with you
again,
100%.
and it's funny, Jim Nill made the comment during Glenn's press conference, he's going to have a moment. Every coach does, and how he handles that moment is going to define how successful he is.
Game 5 against the Oilers.
Clearly, he's making a callback, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And it bothered him.
Yes.
And that's why Pete's not here.
Do you remember when there was a time where they asked Paul Maurice about Pete, because they're, of course, very, very close, good friends, work together. I mean, Pete literally said Maurice is why he's in coaching.
Right.
And Paul said, and I'll never forget this, he said, Pete is better than I am at finding a solution to a problem quickly. He'll get to it and he goes with it.
Right.
He runs with it. He goes, him and Haw and stew about it. He goes, but he will make that decision and stick with it for better or for worse.
Right.
And he wasn't necessarily critical of Pete for that. He was just saying, I'm not that good. It takes me a while. I have to look at all the angles a billion times and chew on it and think and think. And I think he can use that against him in those. And so that's why when you said, I think Maurice would have beat him, because he would say, he's hard-headedly sticking with this because he thinks this is the answer. and I can use that against him.
So then the question becomes is,
And I still think he's a great coach.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But can they be better with this way of doing things, which is a collaboration? Can they be better with, Naz coaching more? Can they be better?
Do you think the power play's better now than
Oh
it
my
was last
gosh.
year? And they were a good power
They
play
were a good
last
power
year.
play. But then also, are the forwards better? All right, here's another one. So I did a little story on David. God, my brain's not working.
You're talking about Peltier,
Peltier.
the assistant coach that Glenn brought with him this
With
year
him.
from Edmonton.
And so then Glenn gives this person a lot of responsibility. This person helped Canada win a couple of gold medals in key events in pair skating. And there is a mindset. And then he also helped with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Some pretty good hockey players.
Some pretty good hockey guys. So then is that an advantage? Is that something that makes this team better? Well, I do believe that as they come back and as they deal with whatever challenges they will, that's when we'll get our answer. That's when we'll see, can they be a better team? Now, Jim obviously should, you look at what they lost from last year's team, there should have been a step back. I mean,
if you looked at the
60
roster
goals
at the
and
end of the
plus-
playoffs and now, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
And that's fair
Yeah.
because it's not.
It's
they
not.
lost some big offensive pieces.
And even Cece is better than, the guys they've got on the third pairing.
Marchment, Granlund, Dodonov is a big
Dodonof's
loss
another
because
one.
of his
Yeah,
depth
and Tyler.
and Tyler Sagan
And
being
we'll
hurt.
see on Tyler. I mean, have you read some of the different Elliott's things? They still haven't made that decision yet.
I know Tyler's made that decision.
we know that Tyler thinks he's going to play.
Yeah.
I think he's crazy enough to get back way before an ACL should be.
I don't know if that's the
I
right
don't
thing
know
to
if
do.
I can bet again. I'm not sure it's
Okay,
a good
so
idea.
then here's my
But I
side
don't think he
conversation.
Love
won't.
to see him play.
I would love it too.
Love to see him play.
But here's my side conversation. If your management,
It's different
you get-
this year
you get
because of the
$3
rules.
million.
Yep.
If he comes back, you get $9 million if he does it. So then
You can make a major difference.
Big
The
difference.
now,
So
the
then
other
can
side of
you
that
add
is the
a-
Stars don't have a lot of assets to acquire stuff, but they
Correct.
have
They have the
cap
money
space
to handle
Correct.
it.
for
the
a
problem,
rental.
The problem that I have is if Tyler came back, love to see it. He's one of my favorite players to root for on and off the ice. But if he comes back, let's say best case, it's third round. First of all, you got to get there. You got to
Right.
get through Minnesota and Colorado. Second of all, what Tyler Sagan are we going to see? Is
That's-
Tyler Sagan going to come out and be a top 6 guy for 9 games?
Right.
Really going to get you a cup? That's where for me is a little different. If he's coming back first round of the playoffs or like last year, end of the season,
Correct.
I think this is a totally different
So
conversation.
Ludd, the reason that sparked this whole coaching conversation initially was that Ludd's was upset with some of they can't hold the leads, the St. Louis
I agree with that.
games,
Yeah.
the Vegas and stuff. Now, I think Vegas was a little different than St. Louis. They're also a much better team right now than the Blues are, but he wants to see them turn the corner as a group, not from the offensive side, because they have that. He wants to see them be able to do what his team could do, which is shut down a 2 or 3 goal lead or what we see when Tampa's at their best.
Correct.
We didn't give you anything in that third period. You had 3 shots on goal. You didn't have any high danger chances. We closed down. We were mature enough to say this game is already over.
Correct.
Is that what they need to do to become Stanley Cup contenders?
I think it's a step.
Yeah.
They certainly need that. I mean, I keep going back to the Edmonton series. They didn't score goals.
Nope.
They actually defended very well. But it's an interesting
But
thing
they
about
couldn't
them
score.
not being able to score goals is the other team was supposed to be bad defensively
and goaltending.
and goaltending. And the
only
somehow-
series that the goaltender was good for them, Skinner, was against Dallas.
But somehow they took that step. And I kind of look at Glenn and I kind of look at this team and say, are there similarities between that Edmonton team? It's funny. They were talking, they had an Edmonton guy on NHL Network on the radio and saying that this team has had trouble coming out of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, for 5 years. And I'm like, what are we talking about with the Dallas Stars this
coming
year?
out of the Christmas break didn't go very well,
No,
did
and
it?
Yeah, and so it's just like interesting because that's what
Yeah.
this guy's saying. He's like, 1, we're in a tough spot already. 2, they've really been bad at coming out of breaks for like 5 years. So then the question becomes are there similarities between that team and this team and whatever they did and however they did it, they became a much better defensive team and better in key situations in playoffs when you're protecting a
Yep.
1-goal lead
Yep.
and things like that. So is that something Glenn learned up there? Is that something he can put into effect? It's a challenge, and it's funny. I make criticism of Colorado or Minnesota or whatever because you're just like, I don't want them to win. Obviously, I would like the Stars to win, but you can make those same criticisms about the Stars,
Yep.
and it's gonna be which team steps up at the moment. I would never have thought that Edmonton would have gone to the last 2 Stanley Cup finals.
No. But then 2 years ago, after being down 3-0, they were 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Correct.
Gulletson has had the experience of taking a team to within the cusp of a championship and then going back there the next year. And he keeps talking about, I have the scars. I have the experience now. It has to be beneficial to have gone through all that.
Yeah. And then when you have somebody like Neil Graham who's hasn't done that, who's done it in the minors, I think that's very helpful, to have somebody who you can talk to and then pick his brain, because I do think he's a very smart guy. And so then now, you were talking about the coaching staff, how does that all come together?
Yeah. Does Mike Heika get a ring if the Dallas Stars win the Stanley Cup?
No.
He might.
I don't think so.
Although
I will say that Ralph and Razor got it.
When
last time.
I was a Dallas
you,
Stars employee, when I was hired, I had a thing that said if they win, I would get one.
Whoa!
I don't work for the Dallas Stars anymore. So when they
You're
were on the
gonna
run
get a
last
DLS ring if
when
they win.
when they were on their run last year, and everybody's saying this team was really something, I went, you watch. The first year I don't work for the Stars, they're going to win it all. They didn't end up doing it, so there's no
I'll let you wear mine.
conflict.
There
I
you go.
appreciate it. I have a Calder Cup ring, so
Oh,
I
look at
will
that.
tell you that. But no, the reason why I want to ask you all that is because it's interesting. I think you have great perspective, and I have a feeling you've been chewing on this for a while, thinking about Gully versus Pete, thinking about what that coaching staff change does, what Elaine Nasruddin's style differently compared to what he maybe been instructed to coach, because they're not doing straight man-on-man like they used to. And Luds is much happier because of it, but also just sort of digesting and observing, because you're with this team, how this new staff, because I think that's a key storyline to this season.
Yes, huge.
Is not only the Ottinger Pete thing in Game 5, but Jim Nill, after everyone kind of put water on the fire of no, Pete's not going anywhere, made a very bold move of, this guy has led us to more wins than any other team in the NHL over this last 3-year period, 3 straight conference finals. It doesn't happen. We're changing.
Yep. It's a great argument. It's funny, going back to the protecting the league, I was thinking in my brain what I would tell Luds. The league is a lot different than it was back then. Now, will it be in the playoffs? We'll see. But the amount of comebacks this year, their team just, one, he shot the puck into the stands and Guy Carbonneau won the faceoff. So that's technically different already, but you could hold people. You could play.
Oh, there's obstruction that doesn't
defense
exist now.
Back in the day. And the league is better because of it. They want a high up and running league, and the amount of comebacks we've seen, 3 goals.
Every year it's getting more and more. Yes.
Like the last month.
Yeah.
It just seems like as we were going into this break, this team scored 3 goals and tied it up. This team scored 3 goals and tied it up. It's a different game. And so, one, you have to be better at it. And 2, I think your goalie has to step up.
This is timely. I have another one that we could talk 5-10 minutes more, but we're running out of time here.
Okay.
I want to ask you before we forget, I almost did, about travel.
Okay.
This team has played a ton of road games. They have a bunch of home games coming up. End of February into March, they're going to play a lot at the AAC. They've been a great road team, better this year than at home as far as their record. But because you're on the team playing, you're traveling, but 57 games in a condensed schedule and a lot. There was a trip recently where you were in 3 time zones, East Coast, West Coast, back to Central. What's it been like for the team to go through this, and how many times they've been away from Dallas so far this year?
It's tiring. I think mentally more than anything. Razor always jokes that we fly in first class. We joke that the flight from New Jersey to San Jose or whatever wasn't that bad. 4.5 hours, and you're like, oh, yeah.
You went coast to coast.
We went coast to coast. They brought us 2 different meals and snacks, and it really was fine. And then you get into your hotel, and
that sounds like Sam's travel experience.
It's always that way.
On those
on
great
his
ones.
private jet.
That's right.
But point being is, they do everything they can to make it easier. the irony of all of this stuff and talking about coming back from breaks is that Glenn has been struggling the most, or the team has been struggling the most when they have too much time between games. And so to get into this, if it's at home, if it's on the road, I think they just need to get into game, day off, game, day off, game, day off.
Players seem to like this rhythm.
Yes.
Because they don't practice.
Correct.
Well,
They
don't
don't
worry,
want
they
to.
will get into that as
I
soon as
think
they
they
get
will,
back
and
here.
I think it could be a good thing for them.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is they have built themselves a really nice cushion. Now, there's two good parts of this. One, you have a cushion that you're probably not going to fall to fourth place. Two, you're not in that 7-game losing streak mode where you can't change your positioning. You can get the home ice in the second seed. I mean, technically, you could catch Colorado. I don't think you will.
They're 13 points ahead of the wild card.
Yeah.
But passing Minnesota is important.
It is. And
For that 7th game at home.
so then I think what part of the problem of the 7-game losing streak was there was no motivation.
Yes.
You have motivation.
Yeah.
So not only do you have, a cushion, but you also have motivation. So it's a great situation for them to be in. We'll just see how they handle it.
Well, we could do this all day.
Yes, we could.
Mike, we love that you come in. Thank you very much again.
Anytime.
I hope you enjoyed a little bonus Heika Stars content here on DLLS.